Hello and welcome to Writing with Steve, with me, Steve Evans. Today we're looking at a really important aspect of your writing, which is dialogue. Dialogue is so important in writing, but it's something that many writers don't like to do. Great dialogue will tell you much about the characters in your story, and it will also move the story forward. It's also a different way of describing your characters. But don't write dialogue for writing's sake. What you need to ask yourself is, when I'm conveying this piece of information to my reader and moving the story forward, will this sentence be better written as a narrative or as a dialogue? Let me demonstrate. So using narrative, we write, Tina had not been home for 6 years. The dialogue version is, I've been away for 6 years, Tina told Mike. We need to reveal a piece of information to our readers. Again, we have a choice. Do we tell them through narrative, or do we use dialogue for that task? For example, using narrative, Kevin had a violent temper. Through dialogue, listen mate, Kevin yelled, you cross me and I'll break every bone in your body. We need to move the story forward. Again, we have to make that decision. Using narrative, when Murphy got to the top of the tower, Kruger was waiting for him, pistol in hand. A body lay crumpled on the floor. Using dialogue, one more step, Murphy, and I'll give you what I gave your partner here. To establish a place, a time, or a mood. Using narrative, when Jenny arrived, she found the theatre crowded with the elite, rich men and women of London. Using dialogue, welcome Countess, the manager said. May I escort you to your box? The Duke and the Astors have already arrived. Your dialogue should really convey the personality of the speakers and your characters. We should be able to understand and begin to read their points of view, their worldview. So dialogue is being used for several purposes, not all at once, but over the course of the story. Dialogue can be used to reveal the following: who they are, what they want, where they're going, where they've been, their social background, their personality, their values, their sense of status. Sometimes it will create a tension between their true selves and the selves that they are attempting to represent to others. Remember, not everybody tells the truth, and your characters are no exception. They may be lying. Dialogue can be used to convey this, particularly if they are contradicting a piece of information your readers already know about previously in the story. Also, your dialogue may be matched with body language, which again gives a clue that your character is lying. Dialogue often reveals information or something about your character that even they are unaware of. It could be something they say or the manner of saying it, and this again gives you rich material for introducing and using irony. Also, when you're writing dialogue, try to make it as natural as possible, or at least as natural for those people who are speaking in your story. Natural to them. It comes as their first nature to speak in that particular way. So for example, we often change our register. For example, the way we speak, our choice of words, depending on the context and the circumstances. We would probably speak differently to an official or to a judge than we would if we were in the company of our friends in a bar. People often speak in contractions. We do not speak formally. We contract, we lead our words. So for example, we say shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't, won't you, can't you. So these are examples of real informal speech, depending again on the context. So be wary when you're writing of making your dialogue seem like a report rather than natural conversation. A great tip is to read your work out, to print it off and to read it to yourself. Then you should be able to hear the natural rhythm of the words. Is it the rhythm that people generally use when they're speaking to one another? That's a great indicator that you're getting it right. Also, as we've said in our previous videos, and if you haven't checked that video out and our earlier videos on journaling, this is where it's really important to carry a notebook with you, because as a writer we are very nosy, we're great snoops, and if we sat there in a situation, perhaps at a cafe or in a bar or on a bus, we may be overhearing conversations and we can jot down some of the words or the rhythm, the cadence of that language, of that sentence. So that's why notebooks and notebook taking is a really important aspect of being a writer, and it's a fantastic resource that we can return to, and it will feed into our dialogue. And just a practical tip, when we are relating to the reader what the characters are saying, there is no problem with using he said, she said. It's the content, it's the filling that's more important than the word said. So by all means, unless there's a real need not to use the word said, just use said. That's less to worry about. So I hope you found this video on dialogue really useful. See it as an extended video on proofreading. If you haven't watched our 2 earlier videos on proofreading, please check them out. Also, if you'd like to share some examples of the dialogue you're working on or have created, please drop them in our comment box below. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like, hit the bell and subscribe. Until next time, write well.